And Joe Hip along the way, but continues to fight the underdog battle.
For me, I like being in this situation. I mean, from what I understand, I'm the underdog. That's fine. You know, it's better trying to fight your way up, you know, rather than just having someone walk in and say you're here. You know, I feel a lot better about myself knowing that I struggled to get there, and this is just continuing part of the struggle.
The struggle tonight is to get to Larry Donald, the master technician. Purity, with 20 knockouts in his 22 wins, simplifies the task at hand.
According to my record, I punch well, but you can't hit him. You know, it doesn't make a difference. So I got to try and hit him.
In the meantime, Donald's stock is rising along with his regained confidence, as demonstrated in this recent clinic against Tim Witherspoon. Donald had KO'd his 5 previous opponents. Once masterful but too laid back, Donald has finally added some punch.
Winning the fight, you know, that's not good enough. You know what I mean? If you can go 5, 6, 10 rounds, just outboxing guy, why not pick the pace up and try to get it on out.
That could be terrific. In trying to become more aggressive and apply more pressure, that could make for a more exciting bout for us to see. Excitement that's been missing really from Larry Donald recently.
A lot of Hasim Rahman has rubbed off on Larry Donald. Now, Ross Purity at the in the other corner has come up big against guys like Morrison and Gonzalez and Hip, but other 3 times he stepped up against a Rockman, against a Michael Grant, against Corey Sanders, just one-sided decision defeats. And here he is once again, major opportunity at his fingertips, going up against number 6, Larry Donald. And we will see tonight over the course of the next perhaps 10 rounds whether he gathers this one in or lets it slip through those fingertips. Ross Purity versus Larry Donald. On the teletape, these are 2 big heavyweights. Donald 6'3½", 239. Purity 6'3", 248.5 pounds, and both with the 80-inch reach. We are in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and here are the rules. Standing 8 count not in effect. 3 knockdown rule is not in effect, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round. This is a scheduled 10-round fight. And now for the introductions. Tonight, wearing the black tuxedo with the white accessories and the white tooth grin, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Biro.
Live from the Lake Charles Civic Center in Lake Charles, Louisiana, Cedric Kushner Promotions in association with Players Island Casino and Budweiser, This Bud's For You, presents USA Tuesday Night Fights. Tonight's bouts are under the auspices of the Louisiana State Boxing and Wrestling Commission. The chairman in attendance, Fielding Lewis. Also in attendance, Vice Chairman Buddy Embanado Jr. This is your first bout of the evening. It is scheduled for 10 rounds in the heavyweight division. Your referee for this event from Folsom, Louisiana, Popular Paul Cedar. Introducing now the principals first. In the red corner to my right, wearing the green trunks with the black trim, he weighs in at 248.25 pounds with a professional record of 22 victories, 11 defeats, 1 draw, and 20 wins coming by way of knockout. He now boxes out of Noble, Oklahoma. Here is Ross the Boss Purity. Purity. His opponent in the blue corner, wearing the white trunks, black accessories, weighing in at 239 pounds. His professional record reads 31 victories, 1 defeat, 1 draw. He also has 20 wins coming by way of knockout. He hails from Cincinnati, Ohio, the number 6 heavyweight in the world as ranked by the WBC. Introducing Larry the Legend Donald. Donald, 10 rounds, heavyweights.
Gentlemen, y'all were giving you instructions earlier. Y'all have any questions? Pay attention to my command. Shake hands now and come out boxing.
Introduced as Larry the Legend Donald, at one point they thought that he might be in this boxing game. A real late starter who's 25 years old when he represented the U.S. in Barcelona in the '92 Olympics. Was a gold medal favorite but lost in the quarterfinals. But seen as a future heavyweight champ, very much the same tools as a Larry Holmes, especially with that big jab and the 6'3.5" frame. He turned pro at 26 5 years ago, won his first 16 fights in 19 months. Rose quickly to number 4 in the world, and then that showdown with Riddick Bowe in just his 17th pro fight. The sky the limit for Larry Donald to win in that fight. He would have gotten a world title shot, $1 million TV contract, but freezing after that press conference, and he's been working his way back ever since. What a blemish on that career. A dark cloud has followed Larry Donald after that incident, and he was just nowhere to be found in the fight, losing a decision in that one and running all night long. But right now he is working his way back up. It's been 3.5 years, 15 straight wins. He's looking as good as he has, trying to pick up the pace, but tonight running into a Ross Purity who has a pure golden opportunity if he comes in to knock off Donald. Purity is unranked stepping into the ring. He had knocked out Joe Hip, and Jorge Gonzalez set him up with a fight in South Africa against Corey Sanders in November for a WBU heavyweight title. And Purity nowhere to be found in that one. Nearly shut out over 12 rounds. But here he is, bounces back with another chance.
Yeah, well, he says in the ring, Purity says, I'm a boxer puncher. His best punch is the right hand. He has 20 KOs in his 22 wins. Larry Donald says, I'm a boxer with power, trying to work more on the power side. His best punch is the left hook. You talked about the Riddick Bowe fight for Larry Donald. It took him a couple of years to rebound, to really get back the edge that he had going into that fight. The press conference is, if you want to fight somebody like Larry Donald and beat him, you beat him at the press conference. Riddick Bowe showed that. Psych him out. Which was done. Yes. But Hasim Rahman, who you see in our main event, who is more of the aggressive of the two. A lot of Hasim has been rubbing off on Larry Donald. In effect, at least Donald is now aware that he has to pick up the pace. He's been very laid back. He's a laid back personality, and that carries into the ring. Lackadaisical at times, it appears in the ring, because basically he finds it sometimes difficult to get motivated. But Rahman is doing a nice job, and so is Tommy Brooks now in the corner of Larry Donald, getting him to pick up the pace, which he knows he has 10 rounds to work with, just trying to feel out Purity here in the first 3 minutes. It has not been a very hectic pace so far. Donald cannot allow this to continue like this. And he was hurt there.
Beautiful work, bro. Beautiful. Where's water? Yo, beautiful work. Okay, now listen. I need you to start throwing that right hand now, okay? Okay. Where's that other towel? There's another towel.
Lake Charles Civic Center, which is also the home of the minor league hockey Lake Charles Ice Pirates. So in a sense, there's fighting going on all the time here in the Civic Center. And this is our first co-feature. Heavyweight Larry Donald, ranked number 6 in the world by the WBC. He's number 12 according to the IBF. Won 15 in a row against Ross Purity, both 31 years of age. Ross the Boss Purity. He says to beat a Donald, he has to put enough pressure on him to tire him out and make sure that Donald knows he's been in a fight. Don't let him sit back and get the jab going, exactly what Donald is doing right now.
But that could be a dangerous thing, because Hasim Rahman does that daily against Larry Donald. He is the one putting the pressure on. Where Donald really has his trouble, and looking back over his ledger, where he has trouble is when opponents move from him. When they try to box with Donald, who is a terrific boxer, that's where he gets lazy. As long as he's got somebody coming at him, it keeps him in the fight.
Well, he does have Purity in his face. Purity could be a very awkward fighter. Smart in the ring. He learned on the job. The defensive end at Texas El Paso. Team with Seth Joyner, Tony Tolbert there. But he felt that his future was not in football. As a kid, he always wanted to box, and he started to fight. Hasim Rahman coming up in our main event. And you'll learn more about Steve Pennell, his opponent out of the hills of Tennessee. But the Tennessee boys have been doing pretty well in the boxing life of late. Getting back to Purity, no amateur fights. He hit the gym while he was still in school. Hit the bag for a month and then stepped right in for his first fight. And a couple of fights while in school, and then just kind of learned the trade. As you mentioned before, he was 8-8 when he stepped in as an opponent, hand-picked opponent for Tommy Morrison. So 10 days before that Morrison fight, didn't even have a trainer or a manager. Didn't even know what a combination was. And after the Morrison fight, he would knock out his next 9 opponents, start stepping up. Now Donald appears to be getting upset.
Look at the demeanor of Donald in his face. You see it when he really gets angry, he gets fired up. And that's what you have to do with Donald. You got to keep him fired up. You got to keep him in the fight. You got to make him angry. And that's a difficult task against Larry Donald. He is quite an amiable kid, real nice person. Hard to get him fired up.
Time.
All right, baby. Okay, listen. You're working beautiful, but I need you to start putting your punches together.
As a Tuesday night fight surface, we would like to inform you that we are now heading into round number 3. 3 it is. Larry Donald, Ross Purity. And in Donald's corner, Tommy Brooks wants Donald to get that jab out. 2-3 jabs. Keep Purity away from him. Purity, the best punch so far of the fight that ended the first round. And then what would have been the best punch of the fight ended the second round, but Purity missed. And now you see Donald coming out with the jab.
Yeah, good right hand from Donald.
And
they wanted a couple of jabs and the right hand. They fired Donald up between rounds. Brooks got into his face and told him, I want, like we've been working on in the gym with the pads, I want 2-3 jabs and then the right. And Donald complies.
Donald has all the tools.
Yeah.
Works off a fast and a powerful jab. He's a well-rounded fighter. He's got the good size, good hand speed, good foot speed, good mobility. Can put together some nice combinations.
All right, come on,
Ring
break out of
generalship, knows what he's doing in there. Accurate with his punches. Doesn't waste much energy. But it's the fire that has the great skills. But can you learn toughness? Can you learn heart? The eye of the tiger.
Well, he started boxing, Donald did, at 18 years old. Said he enjoyed watching Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard. Says his friend asked him to go to the gym with him. And Donald did. And he picked up the sport of boxing. His friend subsequently dropped out of boxing. What a friend.
Donald at home used to just shadow box in the mirror. That's how he actually got started.
And he was good. When he won every one of those fights in boxing the mirror, but he went 55-6 as an amateur. He beat Samson Pa'ua, our friend, 3 times.
That was once he got out of his room.
That was in the mirror. Yeah, and he holds a number of wins over Larry Donald in that mirror.
Found out, though, that when he was jabbing in the mirror, that opponent jabbed right back.
But the punches didn't hurt like they do with Ross Purity. Ross Purity cannot fight from a distance. He must use form boxing. He's got to get on the inside and then land those big hooks. See how big his arms are? He is strong, a lot of weight in his arms and in his shoulders. He's got to get inside to land that weight. He punches very hard, but he can't do it from out on the end. Right there is where he needs to be. Put your head on your opponent's chest and bang away.
5 months since Purity's last fight. Donald's been a very busy man. He had 8 fights in '97. This is his second in '98. Working hard to move to the top.
Beautiful work. Hey, check this out. Right, you got to keep working till the bell sounds, son. All right?
Put his head down, please. Before something happens.
Here we go.
Wait till the bell rings.
Early preparation for Hasim Rahman, the undefeated heavyweight in the main event tonight, while his stablemate right now trying to take care of business to maintain his 6th ranking in the world. While the WBC Larry Donald stepping things up in round number 3. Now moving into 4, his jab keeping Ross Purity away. And now the Donald corner wants him to step it up a bit, get some weight behind his shots. They just see that Purity can't get inside, that he's laying back at a good distance for a Donald right hand.
Yeah, and look how high Donald carries his chin. If I were Purity, I would want to come over the top with even a wild swinging right hand. Just come over the top, because look how Donald carries the chin high, and he drags that left hand too. See that left hand? It's notoriously down below his waist.
But Purity, very patient, has not pressured Donald the way he said he would.
Yeah, also I'd like to see from Purity a little bit more. He's giving too much distance. See him backing up, breaking ground. He's allowing for Donald to keep the tempo and keep his pace. What Purity's got to do, he's got to push Donald back. He's got to back him back there and then punch away.
Paul Cita, 3rd man in the ring. Watching these 2 big heavyweights. Donald 6'3.5", 239. Purity at 6'3", 248.5.
And you look at men that size, they're going to make some money in this sport of boxing. Boxing, the heavyweights command the dollars. Oh, good right hand from Purity. Donald tried to roll it. Purity's got to land more of those. See Donald get back to that jab, back to the jab. The best way to kill a left jab is to throw a quick overhand right on the top of it. All of a sudden, you make your opponent cease throwing that jab. He quit reaching for it.
Donald has 20 knockouts in his 31 wins, not known as a power puncher, but Hasim Rahman told him, you know, if they think you lack power in your punches, then pick up the pace, throw more shots, buzz them with the first punch, hurt him with the second, and knock him out with the third. Just get him out of there. And that is something that is on Donald's mind now, that, you know, when we've seen him in the past, he always would say he never goes into the ring thinking knockout. But he has changed his tune now.
Thinking a little something on that right hand, had some mustard behind it. Tommy Brooks, his trainer, has been working with him in the gym, taking him back to the basics. Stepping in with his jab to commit, moving forward with his punches, something Donald has not been doing in the past.
Tear his head off. Then he comes up, chop him down. Don't sit there and wait. Start moving your hands, just moving them. I want to see some aggressiveness now. Get in there and walk out there with that jab. You can lead Ross, right hand, this is your fight now. He's ready to go.
5th round.
Seconds out, come on. Let's go, get out.
Al Albert with the champ, Lake Charles, Louisiana, USA's Tuesday night fights. And Ross Purity getting a licking in his corner from veteran trainer Jesse Reed, one of the fine motivators in the fight game. And he is trying to wake up Ross Purity. He wants him to move the hands. start to get off on Larry Donald and work behind that jab and stop waiting to get his shots going. Now the hands high for Ross Purity. Round number 5 of the scheduled 10-rounder. And we're going to send the champ into that Jesse Reed corner. Jesse Reed just starting to motor right now. Only he could put himself into Ross Purity's body.
Jesse, you're busier than Ross Purity. Why are you so active all of a sudden?
We're going to win this thing with a jab. We're going to take his jab away from him.
Oh, wait a minute. Ross Purity can't win it getting hit like that.
No, he can't. But that's the only time he's been hit like that. He's been backing him up the whole fight.
Yeah, but he's standing around way too much. You know you're not going to get a decision here. What do you want him to do?
I want him to knock him out. That's what I'm trying to do.
Can Ross Purity knock out Larry Donald?
Anybody can if they get hit right. Anybody can go.
But Larry Donald is an elusive boxer who's hard to hit. What are you going to do?
Well, he's been getting hit with about 30 jabs in this fight. Look at that. What's that?
There's a couple of nice jabs.
Every round he's getting hit with those jabs.
Yeah, but those jabs aren't going to put Larry Donald down. He's
got
number
his heart
6 in the
rate
world.
up. Beautiful. We'll make number 6 and knock him out.
How about the next few rounds, Jess? What are you going to try to do?
Same thing, but busier with our hands. He's got to be busier.
Yeah, giving too many rounds off. How close is this fight?
The fight isn't close, but it will be in the later rounds.
Who do you think Donald's way ahead all of a sudden?
I don't think he's way ahead. I think every round is close, but I think he's doing a little more. But our fighter's landing hard jabs, and he's in the fight.
Our fighter, Jesse?
Yes.
Good, thank you. Al, I've got a new fighter. Thanks very much, Jesse. Our fighter.
Keep that in mind come September, champ. Inside a minute to go in round number 5. Larry Donald seems to, from this vantage point, beating Ross Purity to the jab. Vantage point in the corner may look a little different to Jesse Reed. There is the jab again by Donald, his bread and butter. Works everything off of that. Tries to control the fights from the outside with the jab. And one thing that may motivate Ross Purity to turn it up is so he doesn't have to go and hear from Jesse Reed in the corner in between rounds.
Well, Jesse knows the importance of getting Ross close. Ross cannot fight at long range, as I've talked about throughout this bout. He wants Ross to be on top of Larry Donald.
You got to do more than you're doing. You got to be busier with your jab. You hear me? Yeah. You've got to be busier with your jab. You're not busy enough with it. You're waiting for him. What are you waiting for? He's not hitting you. Come on, son. Where's your right hand and your left hook? You're not even using it. He's going underneath the jab. Pick him up with a hook. Come on. Listen to me. You want
Jesse
me here
Reed.
or not? Listen to me. I'm screaming jab, jab.
One of the great trainers.
Every time you jab, you're snapping his head back. You got his mouth busted up.
He is a boxing technician. He understands the importance.
Son, you gotta want this. You gotta want it. This is where it's at. You don't float in there. There's nobody gonna give you a timeout. Go out. This ain't football. Go get him.
Great trainer.
This is not football, though. Purity with a football background. Yeah. Jesse Reed is as close to a football coach involved in a boxing game the way he motivates in a corner, or tries to.
You know, he's got a fighter in there who fights like a football player plays football. They move in and then use their strength on the inside. And Ross Purity is great at that. He has to do more of that. He's not moving in, using that strength on the inside. What he did in those first 4 rounds is he laid back and allowed for Larry Donald to go ahead and win the rounds. He was like giving up. What Jesse Reed wants him to do is not give up. He wants him to move in and then punch.
It's Ross Purity fighting the fight, not Jesse Reed, but you just see the heat and the intensity in the corner of a Reed who understands where his man is. This man has a chance. He's unranked. He's been on the cusp. He's had some big fights, and this is one against the 6th ranked heavyweight in the world. What an opportunity for Purity.
Oh, and it's about emotion too. Boxing is emotion. You want to show the people, show the judges, show the referee, show your corner man that you want to win that fight. Ross Purity, to do that, he has to get inside. He has to be aggressive. He has to show the judges that he wants to take this high ranking away from Larry Donald. Donald, on the other hand, Must use that jab. Keep Ross Purity out at the end of his punches. Make Ross Purity go through the motions like he did in those first few rounds.
The Rock, Hasim Rockman, 27-0 with 22 Rock-like knockouts. Steve Pinnell, will find out more about this fighter who's been on the Tennessee circuit. He's built up a big record. Says he's ready for pulling off the surprise against the number 3 heavyweight.
Well, he's got Greg Page in his corner, and I tell you, from my own career, those are the most difficult kind of fighters to fight. You don't know anything about them. They come in, they could do anything. There's a good right hand from Larry Donald.
And returned by Purity.
But Purity was stunned.
These are two fighters who do not hit the canvas.
But they hit one another.
Purity's been stopped only twice, and those were in his first 5 fights when he was just learning, and one of them was on cuts. That was 8 years ago. The other time was in his second fight. He went in against a guy who was 12-0 and knocked out in the first round, and he said then that he learned that he needed to be in shape, not football shape, boxing shape. He had to learn how to fight. No amateur experience for Ross Purity. Just loved the game, got in the gym for about a month, and then sought his fortune as a pro. He says he never thought he would get to this position.
Well, he's got a lot of good skills and a terrific heart for this sport of boxing. Real desire, will to win.
Seconds out. We approach the 7th round.
Nice little boxing scene here in Lake Charles, Louisiana. We're in the Civic Center.
Terrific boxing fans here. They love boxing. They have a great amateur program in these parts, and these fans here follow the sport. They read the magazines. They follow the fighters.
More people coming up, tissues in hand, saying hello
and goodbye.
And they have a heavyweight doubleheader here tonight. Larry Donald in the white trunks, Ross Purity in the green, as we move into round number 7.
Round number 7 of a fight that really started out with Donald keeping Purity at the end of his punches, using the jab effectively in those first 4 rounds. Purity started putting more pressure on in the 5th and kept it up in the 6th. They want Donald to continue that jab, 2 and 3 of those, and then bring in the right hand. Whenever you see your opponent swipe away your left jab like Ross Purity does, that's the time to bring in the right hand, and they see that in the corner of Donald.
Purity has been stalking, but not busy enough, says his trainer Jesse Reed. Reed wants Purity to do what Purity said he was going to do, to put the pressure on Donald, tire him for later, and not to allow Donald to sit back and work his biggest weapon, the jab. Now it's Donald just pawing with that long left. 80-inch reach for Larry Donald.
Yeah, big heavyweight reach. Good size you talked about earlier. One of the things that people look at when they see somebody like Larry Donald and the potential behind him. Good combination from Donald, but now Donald moving all backwards. You see all his punches moving backwards. He is a fighter who can throw hard punches moving backwards, But what they want from him are these hard punches moving forward, putting his weight behind the shots. 239 pounds, it's going to hurt. Ending out the round strong.
Great, okay. I'm gonna sit down. Okay, listen up. Put this stuff together now, okay? All right. Don't forget, show him the jab, but go to work. Follow what I'm saying? You're throwing those body shots nice, but you're not finishing up in the head, though. You got me? I got you. Okay? Finish up in the head. Because the guy, he's just standing there. Okay, look, when you get on the inside, he ties you up. Walk. Okay. Okay? If he don't move, then you just open up. Okay. You got me? Got you. Well, we worked on it already, right? Okay. We'll get him looking at the jab first.
Hasim Rahman unable to see what is going on with his best friend, Larry Donald, in the ring right now. Donald later, though, will have the chance to watch Rahman. And it is Donald holding, as you mentioned in the last round, Sean, the backward movement of Donald. Now more of a defensive pose.
Yeah, you certainly see a different complexion in this fight than you saw in those first 3 rounds. Those first 3 rounds, Donald was strong. He was moving forward. He was popping with the jab. Now more or less pawing with that punch.
And the aggressor is Purity. Purity lunging right hand. Oh, the swing and a miss with the left.
Home run written all over that. Purity was wanting the KO.
22 knockouts and 22 wins for Ross Purity. And now snapping that jab is Larry Donald.
Yeah, but you can't get lazy with that jab. You got to stay out long range, too. You cannot stay on the inside like this if you're Donald. Kind of flailing punches from Donald. Punches have really subsided. Good right hand. Purity has got the power. He has to work his way in and keep punching once inside. There's a good left hook from Purity. More power behind the punches of Ross. There's a good couple of jabs. Donald has to keep that jab pumping, extending Ross to the end of his punches. Keep him on the outside. Ross can't fight at long distance. Look at those jabs from Ross. He's reaching with those. Off balance.
Let him go, Lauren. Step back. Step back.
Down to 30 seconds left in the 8th.
Step back, please.
And pawing, mauling. 2 big heavyweights. Very used to going distance fights. There's that clubbing right hand again by Purity. Purity has been getting some of the bigger right hands in. Getting very interesting here at the end of round 8. 2 to go. And Larry Donald to his corner. Donald and Hasim Rahman, stablemates who spar all the time. And Donaldson has a tendency to sometimes get a little lackadaisical. But good thing he has his friend Hasim Rahman for a little push, a gentle nudge.
You're working beautiful, son. When I see him being lazy, I tell him, and I stay on him about the being lazy. And when we spar, if he's being lazy, I pick it up on him. So he knows. He knows that when he's being lazy, I make him feel it. We spar hard.
In fact, that's what they're reminding Donald of between rounds. They're saying you work harder than this in the gym. You get better sparring than this in the gym. Trying to give him confidence. You know, he started that 8th round rather lackadaisical, like you talked about, rather slow. He was kind of pushing the jab out. All of a sudden, by the end of the round, he knew he better get with the program or Ross Purdy was going to knock him pretty much out.
Well, Purdy is coming on with the power, the purity power. And Donald, after being inspired by that bite by Rockman, comes out with a shot. He just feels the presence of the Rock. And now the jab by Purity.
And the jab by Donald. You know, a good big heavyweight like Donald with a good left jab will go far in this sport of boxing. There was a good body shot from Purity. They're asking for Purity to go downstairs to slow down that jab, kill that jab of Donald, down to the body. Hard to do on a fighter like Donald because of that left hand. See how Donald protects his midsection with his hands down around his midsection?
Some of the guys ahead of Donald in the WBC rankings: David Tua, Oliver McCall, John Ruiz, Ray Mercer, Zelko Mavrovich.
Oh, good combination. Donald scoring, gets in, gets out. Wild swinging hook from Purity. You don't want to miss many punches. It takes more out of you to swing and miss than to swing and hit. You defeat the purpose. There's a good left hook. No missing that. You got to have more of those. That fired up the corner of Purity. Let's see if it fires up Ross. You got to put them together against a fighter like Donald. He is too elusive in the ring.
And this is gives you kind of an idea of what the heavyweight division is right now. You have one guy in here is the 6th ranked heavyweight in the world, and the other is completely unranked. And if you didn't know, how would you figure out which was which?
Oh, good right hand from Donald, but a left hook from Purity.
And Donald looks to hold. Purity strikes back out of the clinch. You see Jesse Reed in the background calling for that right. He tried, but a shoulder got in the way. And again, the head of Purity in the chest of Donald, who holds on dearly.
He holds on Purity, not dearly.
Right over the top, yelling Jesse Reed in the corner.
Oh, when you hear a voice like Jesse Reed, you know you better get to work. Jesse Reed is a great motivator. Not only a good tactician.
There's Jesse.
Right hand over the top. Don't need to mic Jesse Reed.
After the bell. Right here, sir. Good job. I'm gonna take a point.
Come on, come on. All right, now we got one more round, son. Hey, yo, if you fight this next round like you fought that last round,
Just like that, man.
if you fight this next round, like you finish up that round, this guy ain't gonna be there, son. But you got the punch, though. You got the punch, okay? Here we go. Here we go. All right. Hey, yo. You working beautiful, son, but you're not just throwing enough punches, though, okay?
Terrific end to round 9. Listen to the bell. There it is. Well, you heard some bells in the background here in the live action, but that shot, the shades of Louis Monaco versus Buster Douglas. The only difference, Larry Donald standing to that big shot by Purity. Donald, who has never been down in a fight. And we go to round number 10 of what has been a very interesting affair.
Yeah, the first few rounds, Larry Donald used a jab from the outside, then he closed on the inside, and Ross Purity took control in those middle rounds, and it had been back and forth in the last several rounds.
Tommy Brooks in the corner of Larry Donald, sending him out for the 10th with the instructions, you fight this round the way you ended the last one, and you got this guy.
Yeah, I think they both were hearing lots of bells at the end of that last round. They were clubbing.
Watch that elbow.
Oh, good jab. You know, Ross Purity has not known for a left jab, but they are begging for that from his corner, and he's able to trade jabs with Donald. If he can get that jab going, look how Donald is freezing with his jab. All of a sudden, he stopped using it. Why? Because of the jab of Purity. You can control your opponent's jab by a jab of your own. You can also kill it with a right hand. Try to nullify his good traits.
For Larry Donald, when you really think of it, champ, this one goes to the scorecards. His number 6 ranking very much in the hands of the 3 judges here tonight. As it comes down to the 10th and final round. Jesse Reed in the corner of Purity. Yes.
Good towel. He needs that water bottle. He is very busy.
Right away.
Look how excited he is.
Right hand, Ross, right hand.
He's been calling for that the last few rounds.
Who wants it? Who wants it?
Who wants it? Oh, that hurt Donald.
Good right hand.
Legs locked.
Right hand, left hook. Shoot it.
Lock and load that right hand, Jesse Reed wants.
Coming down now to the final 30 seconds of this fight. You see the
Watch the hold and step back. Keep the head up.
damage of the jab of Larry Donald all night on the face, around the eyes of Purity.
Yeah, swelling underneath both eyes.
Well, if you're scoring at home, how do you have it?
Very close.
It's going to come to the cards as they close this one out. 10 rounds down. Big finish. Yeah, maybe we should go 12.
Be all right with me.
Two guys who don't agree with that. Larry Donald raises his hands high. He's won 15 in a row. He's climbed to number 6 in the world and now awaits the judge's decision. We'll have that plus the main event next on Tuesday Night Fights. Well, he got the shoes, he got the gloves, he's now all set. Hasim Rahman, number 3 in the world, undefeated, and he is ready to go in the main event, which is coming up next. But first, he finds out if his friend and stablemate is still lofty at number 6 in the world. The decision, here is Mark Bureau.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. Judge Barry Orgeron scores it 99-91. Judge Kenny Santes scores it 99-91. And Judge Floyd East scores it 190. All to the winner by unanimous decision, Larry Donald.
Well, listen to the boos. These fans know how to score fights. They don't like these scoring.
Well, it's
certainly one-sided.